Hey, what's up everybody? Hammerheart Metal Reviews here once again, doing another discography countdown on one of my favorite bands. Today we are going to be talking about none other than the legend himself, King fucking Diamond. I mean, what can you say about King Diamond? Originally the lead singer for Merciful Fate, legendary Danish band. After that he left, he went solo, brought some absolutely awesome musicians with him, and went back to Merciful Fate and kind of was doing both at the same time. So for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to be running through the King Diamond discography. I actually did a Merciful Fate ranking a little while back, so you can go check that video out. But I'm just going to be going through the 12 King Diamond albums from my least favorite down to my favorite. Yeah, there are 12, so it's quite a bit. I don't think there's any like truly bad albums in here. There are definitely a lot of really classic albums that I think are absolutely amazing, and there's a handful that I think are only like okay to decent. So I'll let you know which ones those are. Let's just kick this off. Coming in last, number 12, my least favorite King Diamond album from 1996 is The Graveyard. This one I just find a little bit inconsistent. It's not really on par with the albums that preceded it. That being said, there are still absolutely amazing solos on here. They absolutely shred. There are a few too many like interludes or narratives interspersed with the songs, which I mean is typical. King Diamond is known for always putting out like concept albums, so the whole story is told over the course of an album. There's still some decent songs on here like Black Hill Sanitarium and Waiting, but overall I would probably only give this album like 6 to 6.5 out of 10. Not one that I go back to a lot. If I'm feeling like listening to King Diamond, I'm probably going to grab a different album. But let's move it right along. Coming up next at number 11 from the year 2000, I've got House of God. This one is decent, but kind of like the last one, is maybe just not as interesting as some of the other albums. But that being said, the musicianship on here is still out of this world. I mean, you still got Andy LaRocque on lead guitar. They brought in Glenn Drover on this one, who's an absolutely amazing guitarist. And yeah, King Diamond's vocals are still great. Still got all the falsettos and everything. Like, King Diamond just has one of the most unique voices you'll ever fucking hear. It's definitely an acquired taste. It's probably not for everybody. I fucking love it. There's not really anyone that sounds like King Diamond. He can sing normal. He does all the different voices throughout an album. But this album, it just falls a little bit short of some of the other ones in my opinion. The Trees Have Eyes, Follow the Wolf, The Pact. Still some decent songs on here. This one's more like a 7 out of 10 album in my opinion. But let's move it on to even better stuff. Into the top 10 now. Coming in at number 10 from 2003, I have got The Puppet Master. This is his second most recent album. There's definitely not as many falsettos on this album as some of the others. It's a little more like stripped down, I guess you could say. There's still some pretty good songs on here. The title track, The Puppet Master, Blood to Walk is pretty good. But yeah, all in all, I can't put this one any higher than this because the other albums are just better. Coming up next at number 9, I've got his most recent album from 2007. That's still a long fucking time ago. He's supposed to have a new album coming out shortly. He did release one new song from it, I think, last year, and it was pretty fucking good, so I'm interested what'll come out next. But for now, his most recent from 2007 is called Give Me Your Soul, Please. This one actually is really fucking good. And he is still shredding, and his solos are just absolutely nuts on this album. Really catchy songs. Never Ending Hill, Black of Night, The Cellar, Give Me Your Soul. There's a lot of really good songs on here. This one's more borderline like 7.5 out of 10, I would say. And let's just move this list right along. We're getting into even better stuff now. From here on out, like, these albums are all at least 8 out of 10 or better. We'll get to even the juicier stuff once we hit like the top 5. But these next few are still pretty fucking good, and I still enjoy them. It's coming in at number 8 from 2002. I've got Abigail 2, The Revenge. This is, of course, the sequel to the original Abigail album. It's like 15 years later. Really catchy songs on here. The Storm, Slippery Stairs, Spirits, Mansion in Sorrow is really cool. All in all, it's a really nice continuation from the original. Of course, it's not going to reach the peaks of that original album when it's 15 years later. But nonetheless, this is an enjoyable album. That's why it's coming in at number 8. Up next at number 7 from 1998, I have got Voodoo. This one actually I really fucking like. It's got a really cool vibe to it. The story is cool. Really killer songs on here. Loa House, One Down, Two to Go, A Secret, Salem. Just really good song after really good song. This is a really solid album. That's why it's in at number 7. Let's move it on to even fucking better stuff. Up next at number 6, all the way back now to 1995, is The Spider's Lullaby. This one I find is just like really melodic and really catchy songs. It's really fucking good. I like this one a lot. From the Other Side, super catchy opening track. Moonlight, 6 Feet Under, Eastman's Cure. All in all, a really fucking killer album. Almost made the top 5, but for me, the top 5 are the first 5 albums. They're really just masterpieces. They're really where he honed the concept album. Like, no one does a concept album better than King Diamond. Like, these albums are all a little bit over the top and theatrical, but in a good way. Like, it's what you want when you're kind of mixing horror in with really great heavy metal. So yeah, these next 5 albums, if you've never heard King Diamond, go pick up any one of these next 5. You'll fucking love it. It's so goddamn good. The guitar riffs are all amazing. But yeah, let's see where I've got them ranked. So coming at number 5, this was tough. I almost wanted to put this one higher. It was very fucking close, but for me, number 5 right now from 1990 is The Eye. This one is an amazing goddamn album. I feel like it's a bit underrated. People don't give it as much credit. I almost put this one even like sneaking into the top 3. It's that fucking good. This one's a little more straightforward than, say, the first few albums. Got Pete Black on guitar in conjunction with Andy LaRocque. This lineup is just fucking awesome. Like, the lineup on this album is just fucking sick. Such good musicianship. It's kind of like an end of an era. I think this was the last album that had Pete Black on it. There's still good material after this album, but like, this is the last from this first early, like, absolutely amazing era of King Diamond. These first 5 albums are so goddamn good. But anyways, about this album, Eye of the Witch, absolutely amazing song. Burn, Into the Convent, The Meetings, 1642 Imprisonment. List killer song after killer song. King Diamond's vocals are so fucking good on this album. Absolutely love it. This is more like borderline 9 out of 10, maybe like 8.9 out of 10, but just fucking great. That's why it's in at number 5. Up next at number 4, I am going with the debut from 1986, Fatal Portrait. So at this point, they did bring in Andy LaRocque on guitar. The other guitarist was Michael Denner from Merciful Fate. So this one did still have a very like Merciful Fate vibe to it. But King Diamond's falsetto was becoming way more prominent than on the Merciful Fate stuff. I would have a really hard time ranking between Merciful Fate and King Diamond if I was doing that combined. That would be really tough. I don't want to say I like one more than the other. It depends on which mood I'm in. Those early Merciful Fate albums are fucking amazing masterpieces. Like, those first couple would probably be near the top here. But yeah, Fatal Portrait kind of continues on that, just pushing that sound even more over the top and theatrical, but absolutely amazing. His vocals are so goddamn good here. Favorite songs, The Candle, The Jonah, Halloween is fucking awesome. Just all in all, absolutely amazing debut. Picks up right where Merciful Fate left off, and it only gets better from there. Into the top 3 now. These 3 are all fucking masterpieces. You could borderline give them all 10 out of 10s. I'll say this next one for me is like a 9.5 out of 10, because I don't want to give everything a 10 out of 10. But for me, coming in at number 3 is the poster I've got right there, Them. This was the 3rd album. It's from 1988. Pete Black this was his first album on guitar in conjunction with Andy LaRocque, and wow, they're just a good fucking team here. The riffs on this album are absolutely amazing. The story is fucking great. Absolutely killer songs. Welcome Home, probably the most well-known King Diamond song. Absolutely amazing. As soon as you hear that drum beat, you know exactly what you're in for. Then the great riff, and then Grandma! Just fucking amazing. So goddamn good. The Invisible Guests, easily one of my favorite King Diamond songs. T, I actually really fucking dig that song too. Twilight Symphony, absolutely amazing. This could easily be higher than number 3, but for today, it's coming in at number 3. Up next, number 2. Fuck, this is tough, but for me right now, number 2 from 1989 is Conspiracy, the follow-up to them. And absolutely another amazing goddamn album. The musicianship on this album is amazing. It's like it just kept getting better. The production is so great. The sound is so fucking crisp. You hear every instrument, and it just is so well written. It's so goddamn good. Sleepless Nights, come on. It's just fucking great, nice soft riff. And King's vocals just over top. Such a nice vocal harmony and melodies all throughout. Lies is great. A Visit from the Dead. The Wedding Dream is really great. Amon Belongs to Them. Victimized. Like every fucking song on this album is goddamn great. That's why it's number 2. And that just leaves one. My favorite King Diamond album of all time from 1987 is Abigail. Absolute masterpiece, not just in this genre of metal, but just in overall music. Absolute masterpiece of an album. 10 out of 10 album for me. Everything's fucking great on here. This still had Michael Denner on guitar for Merciful Fate with Andy LaRocque. Absolutely amazing lineup. Fucking the songwriting from the debut to this just got that much better. This was the first like all-out concept album. The story is so great, mixing the horror in there. Like every single song on this album is absolutely amazing. This is like a very close to perfect album. Like you talk about a perfect metal album, this is right there. This would be in the mix for sure. Abigail, Black Horseman, Arrival, A Mansion in Darkness, The Family Ghost. I could keep fucking going. Every goddamn song on this album is fucking great. Easily my favorite King Diamond album. Anyways, these are just my opinions as usual. Love to hear yours down below. Let me know what your favorite King Diamond album is. What do you think of my videos? Anyways, give me a like, give me a subscribe. Until next time, Hammerheart Metal Reviews, out!